Welcome in then to the latest edition of ESPN FC on the day that La Liga confirmed. For the first time ever in the history of the competition, a game will be played outside of Spain. Villarreal taking on Barcelona on December the 20th at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. I'm sure... Well, you'll be there for sure.
I'm just going.
Craig Burley, of course, will be there as well. The game which will be live on ESPN. Big build-up, I'm sure, ahead to what is a historic moment in the history of Spain. For more on this, Fernando Palomo, ESPN Deportes reporter, spoke more to Tebas.
Para nosotros era importante intentar conseguir este hito porque estratégicamente nos ayuda mucho a crecer la marca de la Liga, ¿no? Primero porque venimos a un país como Estados Unidos donde hay una masa de aficionados de la Liga elevadísima, ¿no? Y eso bien lo sabes tú como comentarista de la Liga. Yo creo que tenemos que acercar nuestro fútbol español en directo a aquellos lugares donde tengamos una masa social importante. Limitado, nosotros nos autolimitamos a uno por temporada y intentando rotarlo por el mundo, y creo que eso es bueno para todos, para la industria, para la Liga, para el fútbol en general.
El fútbol de Estados Unidos, que va a albergar al final en una de sus ciudades un partido de la Liga Española, ¿qué beneficios puede llegar a obtener de la experiencia y del evento histórico?
¿Y por qué no la MLS se puede convertir en ese nivel de liga? No viene a quitar espacio a la MLS, sino viene a apoyar y ayudar. Una visión que es para mí muy equivocada es pensar que un partido de la Liga Española viene a quitar espacio a la MLS. No, ojalá podamos hacer algo en conjunto con la MLS en esos planes que estamos haciendo, ¿no?
Well, for more on this announcement, to get the US perspective, we welcome in Jeff Carlisle. But first, let's get the reaction in Spain, shall we, Alex? What are people saying about this?
Yeah, I think there's a range of opinion here, like there is on this issue everywhere, Dan. There's been a feeling here, I think, for a long time here, this is kind of inevitable. This is the latest step. Of course, the biggest step came a few days earlier when UEFA basically said, we don't love this idea, but we feel like we can't block it. And it's going ahead. It's something the league have been working on for going on for a decade now. Go back to 2018, this was first proposed, and now it's finally happening. I think you'll see some fans who are opposed to it for different reasons. Some fans feel like, you know, clubs here are kind of deeply rooted in communities, and games shouldn't be taken out of those communities. Others will point to the issue of kind of fairness and say, well, look, you've got a game here which would be an away game for Barcelona at Villarreal. Is now going to be played on neutral territory, and in some ways might feel like a home game because so many fans there, of course, in Miami will be Barca fans. Others, I think it's a positive in terms of growing the league, about bringing Spanish football to the world and looking to compete with the Premier League and elsewhere. And there's an element, I think, of pride in that, saying, look, you know, US, this massive market, they want to see more of Spanish football. So I think there's all kinds of opinions. There has been some opposition, of course, to this from the likes of Real Madrid. There have been questions from the Players' Union as well about the impact of this travelling on the players. There may still be, you know, further kind of legal challenges to this and otherwise. But like I say, for a long time here, the feeling has been like this is going to happen. And today, this is a pretty decisive step.
What do you think, Craig?
I think traditionalists will be spitting feathers. And I kind of would consider myself a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to, you know, this sport. But as Alex said, there feels like there's an inevitability about it. With not just this, but other sports. You know, you take the NFL, for example. It's played in Mexico, it's played in Germany, it's played in London. Mm-hmm. It just feels that this is the way, whether we like it or not, this is how some of the leagues around the world, some of the elite level leagues, are trying to build the product, trying to push the product for more financial gain, for more strength in their own league, for a bigger platform, even though they have a huge platform. So, you know, and obviously us being living here in the US, you know, we're not really going to complain about it, but I can see sort of both sides, and there's no surprise Real Madrid are going to complain about everything, aren't they? Particularly if they're not involved. I don't think, if you'd have said to me 10 years ago, I don't think it's an ideal scenario, but we're seeing this sort of decision in other sports, and we've seen it discussed from the Premier League, we've seen this discussed from the La Liga, and obviously now it's going to happen. So, you know, and the fact that in regards to Major League Soccer, if one game a year in your country is going to screw your league up, then I'm afraid you don't have a league to start with. So growing the game, or trying to grow the game, or trying to get more interest in the game, is not a bad thing. But I know there'll be a lot of people in Spain, as there would be in England if they took a game to here in the US or anywhere else around the world, would be spitting feathers at the fact that this is not what we should do. You know, the game should be played in England. So I see it from that side, but I also see it from a monetary side and a growing the game side as well. So good for US fans.
My question, I have so many questions about this. Okay, while...
A long show yesterday. We don't
I'll try to keep it short.
December 20th it kicks off.
while I understand this kind of premise that is trying to be sold, that it's good for La Liga, I see how it's good for Barcelona, I see how it's good for Villarreal. I don't see how it's good for Alaves. I don't see how it's good for Getafe. If somebody could explain that to me, I'll be willing to listen. And
Does it not set a precedent for those teams then? It opens the door for them to travel in seasons to come.
Well, I'm sure it will, but how many people are going to go watch Alaves and Getafe outside of Alaves and Getafe? It's a short answer to that. And then, for me, again, league football is built on a fairly simple competitive premise. You play 19 games at home, you play 19 away. Now this kind of goes outside of that, on again, a premise that I don't fully understand, that is meant to grow the league in its entirety. Now, for me, you are selling this game on foreign soil for a cash injection. Now, what's stopping Real Madrid from doing similarly? And going to Saudi Arabia, what's stopping anybody in Spanish football just putting out one league game a season to the highest bidder? For me, it just opens up a can of worms that I'm not sure anybody's kind of thinking of. They're seeing this very short-termist, very kind of blinkered, and I don't see how it's good for the sport, for the league in general.
On the opposite side of that, obviously, Jeff, this is great for the US soccer audience.
Absolutely. I mean, if you've got a chance to see Barcelona play a competitive match on US soil, regardless of who the opponent is, I mean, that's going to be a feast for the eyes for American soccer fans, no doubt about it. I think if you're MLS, you're probably a little less enthused. Certainly all of this is going to depend on how many of these games are actually going to be held in the U.S. Is this going to be a one-off every year, for leagues like La Liga or the Bundesliga or the Premier League? Or are we going to see, dozens of games? I mean, I think Liga MX in Mexico, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how they try to take advantage of this situation, because they've been playing friendlies in the United States for years that have been very well attended. And especially given Club America's stadium situation where, they might have to look for a different home venue for a while. They could be playing games in the United States. I mean, that's one idea that has been floated. So, but I think, if you're MLS, you kind of accept this. I don't know if this is going to do too much to the weekly attendance that a typical MLS team enjoys. I think if it's a competition like the Leagues Cup, I think that could be impacted a little bit more and maybe siphon away interest, from that particular competition.
I don't think people realise outside of the US, they maybe think, well, Major League Soccer over here, how much interest is it? I know the Premier League is very popular, La Liga is popular, all that sort of stuff, but I don't think people realise the appetite for soccer over here. And it's only when these teams come and play in these pre-season friendlies that we've covered, and it used to be the ICC competition or the Cup or whatever it was, and you could go to Michigan, I was up in Michigan, there's 110,000 there for Chelsea Real Madrid, a friendly, a pre-season, doesn't matter where you go. The appetite is there. I think there is a concern, and I think to Shaka's point, is that where does it stop? Is it one game this year from La Liga? Is it 2? Is it 4? Is it 6 next year? Where does it stop? And I think that's the worry if you're looking at it from a Spanish perspective, somebody that's been from generation to generation of family going to watch Real Sociedad or whoever it is, Villarreal. Where does this end? And I think that is the concern. At some point, there has to be a cut-off that money isn't the most important thing. I'm 50-50 on this. It's going to happen. I think we have to get used to it. There's going to be a lot of complaining about it, probably internally, from other La Liga teams. But in terms of, seeing a competitive match with star players this side of the pond, as Jeff just said, it's going to be very exciting for the people turning up and the people watching on TV.
Let's get some players' reactions, shall we? At the Spain camp at the moment, Marino and Cucurella.
Es un poco extraño, nunca se ha hecho, pero como dice Merino, yo creo que en una parte puede ser bueno porque al final llevas un espectáculo que a nivel nacional a otra parte del mundo, gente que quizás vive ahí que no ha tenido la posibilidad de viajar o hacerse un viaje tan largo para ver un partido de liga, pues lo llevas ahí y quizás pues es el principio de algo que puede también ayudar a fútbol español, sobre todo pues quizás en un plano más económico.
Que tampoco es malo para la Liga, no es malo para el fútbol español poder enseñarse en otros lugares, poder enseñar la calidad que hay en nuestra Liga, el nivel de jugadores que tenemos, siempre y cuando todos estén de acuerdo y haya soluciones también para esos aficionados que igual se pueden quedar sin ver un partido en casa que les haría ilusión, ¿no? Eso ya son temas suyos, cómo pueden afrontarlo para que todo el mundo esté contento en la medida de lo posible, pero desde luego que esa exposición me parece siempre muy positiva para el fútbol español.
You know, I don't know if he did in his interview with Fernando Palomo. I may have missed it, I don't know. But I think it would be important before and after this particular event in December that he outlines where the benefits are and shows the benefits to Spanish football, to La Liga, to the teams, from various perspectives.
I think his idea is you have one of these games a year, basically, and you take it around the world, wherever it may
I get
be,
what his idea is.
annually, and therefore there's more eyes on La Liga. It brings more interest into Spanish football.
What chance is that one game a year always includes Barcelona, Real Madrid?
Well, absolutely. It will always happen.
So the primary beneficiaries of this are Barcelona and Real Madrid.
But financially, obviously, like Villarreal are going to get money from this.
Villarreal and whoever else is the opponent.
Exactly.
But there are 20 teams in this league. Now, my question continues to be, how does this benefit the league in its entirety?
How does it filter down?
Exactly. If you're selling it as benefiting La Liga, then tell me how it benefits all 20 teams. I see how it benefits Barcelona. Great. I see how it benefits Villarreal. Great. I see how it benefits the US fans. I'm loving that idea. I have no issue with that. But don't sell it on the premise of this is beneficial to La Liga and no one can see how it gets outside of those two teams for this 1 year, especially if you're selling it as one game a year. No, again, you're talking Real Madrid, Barcelona against, it'll be 9 years or 18 years or whatever it is against each opponent in the league. I just don't get it.
I know it's not going to. I know we've got the boys. I know it's not going to happen. But if you really wanted to make a statement, you know the game that had to happen here.
Yeah, El Clasico, obviously.
Yeah.
You really wanted to make a statement about growing the game. Now I don't know the logistical problems of how if that ever could happen. Certainly not this year. But that, if you're going to do it, in my opinion, that would have been the big statement. That is a bigger outreach. That is making the biggest of statements, but that is the premier game, not only in Spain but arguably around the world. So that's a big ask. That is a big ask. But again, I go back to that. This point is, don't just tell me that more people are going to watch. There has to be some hard and fast figures of to where this is going to benefit the teams and everybody else involved in it. At the end of the day, not just bluff and bluster. Well, the more people watch there, more people. Is your TV deals better? Is your commercial deals better? Is the money filtering down the league? If they can show that's happening, then it's difficult to say it's a bad idea.
I suppose financially, you take a look at the top 6 teams in the Premier League. The top 20 teams in the Premier League. They are so superior to that of Spain. This is about La Liga.
In terms of money.
Exactly.
Not in terms of quality.
No, but exactly. But this is the problem. This is how they're looking to financially compete with the Premier League, which is on an absolute different level when it comes to the finances that they create. And I suppose, Alex, this is one avenue that La Liga is going to try and explore to try and close that gap and try and help those teams out that don't bring in the sort of revenue that Barcelona and Real Madrid do.
Yeah, a couple of things just to react to what you guys have been saying. Of course, the big issue with bringing a Clasico overseas right now is Real Madrid. Their relationship with the league is effectively broken. Madrid won't agree to any La Liga initiative like this, leaving aside the fact that, would Madrid or Barca give up a home Clasico to play a neutral Clasico? It's hard to see that happening. What you were saying about the money the teams involved will make from this, interesting listening to Villarreal executives talking today. They were saying they don't view this as a money spinner in the short term, maybe in the longer term in terms of building the club's profile. But of course, Villarreal also have to compensate their season ticket holders for losing a big home game against Barcelona. They're going to have to, any season ticket holders they've said who want to go, they will pay for their trip to Miami. And also those who don't want to go get money off their season tickets. So financially, Villarreal are also taking something of a hit on this. So they view this as sort of a longer term benefit rather than a short term money spinner. And you're right, in terms of bringing these games overseas, it's going to be Madrid, Barca, Atleti. Those are the ones that, of course, are attractive. And it's, let's see where this ends up, because you guys have been saying right now we're talking one game. But if it works, it's not going to be one game, is it? It's going to be 2 or 3 or 5 or 10. And how that works out in the longer term is going to be really, really interesting. But definitely, look, in terms of the benefits, La Liga have some very, very smart business people involved in their strategy. I've spoken to some of them, and they clearly believe this is absolutely fundamental in terms of growing the league.
Jeff, we mentioned MLS, just going back to that, obviously, what MLS Cup is at the start of December, end of November, and you think of the coverage that this game is going to get, it's going to eclipse that so much. That's got to frustrate the league, isn't it? That they're, despite trying their hardest, they're not going to generate anywhere near the amount of coverage for their big event, their Super Bowl, compared to this.
Well, there's not only that, there's the World Cup draw that's taking place around the same time as MLS Cup. So, I think in terms of capturing mind share, I mean, MLS is going to be really up against it. But, MLS, the people that have run the league for many, many years, the owners, they are long-term investors. They're strategic investors. And so, I don't think they're going to be completely worried about one game. But I think, as everyone has been saying, me included, all of this is going to depend on how many games are actually going to be in the U.S. market and from how many leagues. And so, I think MLS is calm at the moment. I mean, I think they're being very thoughtful, as they tend to be, in terms of seismic changes to the soccer landscape in the United States and Canada. But, certainly I think it's going to make them sit up and take notice. They're going to be a little worried about, what the long-term ramifications are. But, they are strong believers in their league. And, they've done a great job of creating local interest. I mean, I think the challenge has been creating national interest, especially when it comes to, a TV rights deal. So I think that's going to be another thing to worry about going forward for them. Are they going to be able to draw more fans to their product? And I think that is going to be made more difficult if you've got games like this one taking place on U.S. soil.
One last thing, Jeff, you've seen Pochettino again this week. He was very angry at you last time you two met. Why does he hate you? If he really wants to hate me, he can take a look at the lineup that I've been putting out on a monthly basis. I'm joking, of course. Well, yes, I'm
looking forward to seeing Mauricio.
I think having Jesse Marsh in charge, I think, upset him a bit as well in that lineup. Thank you very much, Jeff. Much appreciated, mate. Just a reminder then, La Liga continues in Spain when we return from the international break. Atleti taking on Osasuna on Saturday. And then on Sunday, Getafe against Real Madrid. Why can't I see Barcelona on that list? There it is. Barca-Girona is the early game on the Saturday. Remember the excitement, Craig, you had when Jim Ratcliffe was going to come in and save Manchester United and Ineos and all this? And this is what he's been saying about his manager.
Well, they did beat Sunderland at the weekend.
He has not had the best of seasons.
We're 7 games in. We're 7 games in.
Ruben needs to demonstrate he's a great coach over 3 years. That's where I would be. The press, sometimes I don't understand. They want overnight success. They think it's a light switch. You flick a switch and it's all going to be roses tomorrow. You can't run a club like Manchester United on knee-jerk reactions to some journalist who goes off on one every week. Let's welcome in, shall we, Don Hutchinson. What world is he living in?
Well, he's living in the one where he's emboldened by beating Sunderland. Because
3 years. 3 years.
Because if they had lost to Sunderland at the weekend, which they did not, at home, he could not have made that statement. As stupid as that statement is, he could not have made that had they lost at Sunderland. He probably would have had to have sacked him. And he talks about knee-jerk reactions. Isn't it Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe that made, well, we didn't call it a knee-jerk reaction, but it was a knee-jerk reaction to giving Erik Ten Hag the new contract, then sacking him. Mm-hmm. That's a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. Ten Hag never got 3 years off the back of the new contract, and rightly so. That's just, you know, these kind of statements are not needed because people can see the big picture. And the big picture is, if he doesn't get results, Ruben Amorim that is, the man making that statement will have to fire him.
So why make that statement in the first place?
That's the point. These statements come back to bite you in the backside. They do. Because he, like everybody else, is in a results-based environment. And if Ruben Amorim doesn't get results, these statements are worth nothing. Zero. Zilch. And that's the game we all watch and have played, is the one, Shaka, where results matter.
I listen, I'm with Craig in that I simply don't understand it. I really don't. To make such a broad, sweeping statement on the back of, albeit one good result against, as you mentioned, Sunderland.
Liverpool off the back of the break.
It really beggars belief. And we aren't talking about one season. We're coming up to a year that Amorim has been in charge. And it has pretty much gone downhill from Ten Hag, who was sacked. And if things do not improve in 12 months under a manager that you deemed not good enough, I'm not sure how you view that, or view his sacking, if it were to come tomorrow, for argument's sake, as a knee-jerk reaction. It's justified by those results. I don't understand. I really don't.
What's he blabbering about, Don?
Well, me.
Oh, no, that's standard. That's normal.
Well, who? Radcliffe for the boys.
You're just not a billionaire.
I think what he's trying to do, he's trying to put a bit of water on the fire and to say, listen, give him 3 years, judge him in 3 years. I mean, it was a poor
Don,
statement, but there was no need.
That doesn't happen. Can you imagine Florentino Perez saying, "Well, give Xavi Alonso 3 years, don't worry"?
No, I don't agree with you. I'm just thinking why Jim Ratcliffe made the statement. He was just trying to put a bit of water on a fire because he was unfair in bringing Mikel Arteta into the conversation, where he said, well, judge Mikel Arteta in the first couple of years when he finished a couple of eights, but it was Mikel Arteta's very first job in world football. You know, the points and the results speak for themselves. This is a guy that's won 10 games and lost 17. You know, he talks about 3 years. If they had lost against Sunderland last weekend, he would have got sacked. No question whatsoever. The game that they play next is Liverpool. The game after that is Brighton. The game after that is Forest and Spurs. So never mind give him 3 years. Give him the next 4 games, because if he goes 4 straight losses on the spin, he'll be gone. And he will always be judged on results. Absolutely. The boys are right. Look at Russell Martin at Rangers, trying to turn around and say that's about philosophy. No, it's about winning. And when your record's poor, and when you're one of the worst managers in Man United's history, his own words, and you are in a relegation battle, his own words, and you've took the team worse than what Erik Ten Hag was, which is phenomenal. It strikes me at the minute I'm watching a repeat of when Erik Ten Hag was in charge at Man United. He'll win a game, everything goes a little bit quiet, he'll lose 2 games, Erik Ten Hag, he's back under pressure. It's exactly the same as Amorim now. I'm
just waiting on the statement from Marinakis, saying Big Ange's got 3 years. Fantastic. I mean, wow. He's lucky if he's got 3 hours.
Yes.
But I mean, that is true. I mean, Don just picked up on it as well there. Let's look at this rationally. Had they been thumped, and it was possible, had they been thumped by 2 or 3 goals by the newly promoted team in Sunderland at Old Trafford at the weekend, he'd have been putting a statement out about the dismissal of Ruben Amorim. I'm almost sure of it. And yet, off the back of 1 win against a team who've started the season well, coming up from the Championship, which they have, but they haven't really played anybody of any note, but they've started well, he feels the need to come out and make a ridiculous statement about a manager who's clearly struggled. He's struggled in all departments. He's struggled to show any life, any desire, any energy on the touchline. He's struggled to put a team on the park that can get results. He's struggled to deal with press conferences properly when he's asked about his systems and all the things that go with it. He's struggled with players who were seen as bad apples. You know, they just sort of sidelined them. He said some ridiculous stuff like I'd play the bus driver before Marcus Rashford. These things are just ridiculous. So to come out and say 3 years, just don't.
I've had enough. ESPN FC is back on your screens tomorrow. Be sure to check it out. 3 years, we'd do well. We'll take that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, well.
Don't judge us today. Over 3 years.
You just wait.
Don't judge the show. It's a work in progress.
Exactly. We've talked so much about Liverpool over the last few days, of course, rightly so, given the way they've fallen off a cliff, really, over the last couple of weeks and their stuttering start to their title defence. But let's give some love to Arsenal, shall we, who sit top of the table. They are now favourites to win the Premier League, Don. It just seems to be falling into place for them.
Yeah, I was on comms for the West Ham game last time out.
What difference does that make, Don?
No, they just looked immaculate. Because they looked immaculate. They looked like Liverpool last season. They had total control in minute 1. You watch them after 5 minutes and you go, it's inevitable. It's only a matter of time before they score. Once they get the second one, it's how many. The bench, he's now got a bench to die for. The 3 midfield players that started the game, he took the 3 off. He then took Calafiori off and put Lewis Skelly on. I mean, the game that they played against West Ham, and it was just perfect. Everyone called Liverpool boring last season or winning games 2, 3 and 4. It's exactly what Arsenal are doing now. They've got total control of nearly every game they played in, and I thought they were phenomenal.
I mean, I bet you can't wait to go back into hospital just so you don't have to listen to Don say, I was on comms for that one. I'm going to pipe that into your hospital room.
Just Don said, I was on comms for that game. I was doing that game.
I did that game in Saudi Arabia. I did that game. I was doing Goals Rush at the weekend.
OK, so if we look at where there may be a problem going forward, Odegaard's out for a few weeks.
Odegaard's injured again. Eze has come into that position. But, he looked OK at Newcastle. Was unlucky not to get on the score sheet. Don talked about the back four. Back four's rock solid. They've got players to come in. They've got good players in the middle of the park. One of the issues they have had has been in the midfield getting the balance right when they've played the 3 midfielders, Zubimendi, Rice and Mikel Merino. So obviously he came in for a bit of criticism on that one and he played Eze at Newcastle. I think Odegaard, when fit, will be back in the team. The one thing that's sort of still sticking out a little bit is their change of style with having a false number 9 or a Kai Havertz up front to having really a traditional number 9, big physical guy who puts himself around in Gyökeres.
Less drop points against teams lower down in the table. I'm still not convinced that he can do it against better opponents, against the Cities and the Liverpools and talking Champions Leagues. But maybe he makes that difference for them in the league, especially when you consider the inconsistency of both Liverpool and Manchester City. That's putting it as nicely as I can. So as of right now, I'm with the bookies and seeing Arsenal as favourites to go on and win the title. I don't see them as doing that at the Champions League level, simply because as they go deeper against better opponents, that's when Gyökeres is found out.
Even the City game. Think about the first game, Man United away. It was a bun fight with Matthijs de Ligt. He got nothing. It was his first game. Every ball coming up to him was at his throat. And de Ligt was right in behind him. He got no space. Think about the City game. Normally, Man City, even away from home, they're open, they're attacking, there's space in behind. You can get your wide players behind the full-backs, you get crosses into the box. No. City got their early goal and they basically parked the bus. And so when that scenario happens, Arsenal have to find a way to get better quality into the box when teams are defending deep. Because Gyökeres getting the ball like he did in the Newcastle game, into his feet with 4, 5, 6 defenders around him, midfielders and defenders, that's not his game. His game's, spinning in behind, getting in the box for crosses, and it's something that Arsenal haven't really been doing for the last couple of years because they've had players that have been, pulling in a little bit deeper. They've been about the passing, they've been about Saka, they've been less about crosses into the box, although they've had some success with Moreno, making deep runs from midfield. But now they have an out-and-out front man. And they have to figure out, in games that are tight and when teams are defending deep, how they get the best out of Gyökeres. What can his service is the best service to get the most goals and the best performance out of our number 9 to do the job that he's been brought in for, which is to get them over the line. That's the thing I'm going to be looking for when I'm watching Arsenal.
Don, you've been on the commentary for a number of Arsenal games this season. What did you make of their comments?
Say again, Dan? No, I thought there was green shoots when I watched the Olympiacos game, and I watched Martin Ødegaard slide Gyökeres down the side about 4 or 5 times, and he got quoted as being phenomenal in that game, Ødegaard, and he was, because I think they're starting to learn how to play with Gyökeres. As Craig touched on there, the problem for Arsenal with Gyökeres is the majority of teams that play against Arsenal are going to play deep. They're going to play in a low block. So there's not going to be too much room for him to run in behind. Everything's going to then become a little bit shorter for him. So you might be judging a player that's numbers are going to be down this season. But listen, if he scores 10 goals and Arsenal win the league or win the Champions League, he's a success. I wouldn't look at Gyökeres this season and judge him on his numbers. I would judge him on how successful Arsenal are. If they win major trophies and his numbers are down slightly, who cares?
Don, you were on the Gab and Jules show this week, weren't you? Jules and Don, taking you through what happened at the weekend. As always, you can check that out. Did you mention you commentated any games in that podcast? He does.
I'm back on with Gab tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. Be sure to check out Don and Gab on the next edition then of the show. Right then, extra time. There's Muhammad Ali, there's Frank. What was interesting, of course, yesterday was the question about if Erling Haaland is the best ever Premier League striker. The boys scoffed at it. Here's what they had to say.
Is Erling Haaland already the best striker the Premier League has ever seen?
Come down. Seriously.
Oh my God. Next question.
Come on.
We have a list of 20 players we can compete with. Come on.
All right, straightforward. That was your answer right there.
Come on.
A resounding no.
Jan Rush, Peter Osgood, and to name a few, what can I say?
Thierry Henry, Alan Shearer, the list goes on.
Thierry Henry, Jan Wright. Come
Dennis
on.
Law.
What is his name? The name of Manchester United, is that Bulgarian player? Play for Tottenham and Manchester United.
Teddy Sheringham.
Dimitar Berbatov.
No. Berbatov. Come on, Berbatov. Oh my God.
Ruud van Nistelrooy. Mark Hughes.
Yeah.
Have we gotten to 20
Robbie
yet?
Fowler.
Yeah.
Have we got to 20 yet?
Ferdinand.
Didier Drogba.
Oh, yeah. There's your answer.
Robbie Fowler.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Sorry, still some time for Erling to go.
20 strikers then better than Erling Haaland in the history of the Premier League. So we thought we'd take a look at the stats. No one is anywhere near Erling Haaland when it comes to goals per game. 94 goals in 104 games. You mentioned Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Well, it's
Craig.
easier
You
now.
mentioned Ruud van Nistelrooy. 94 goals in 150 games. Thierry Henry, 0.7 pretty much goals per game. Aguero, Kane, all lagging behind. Dennis Law, by the way, was a 0.6. We didn't put him in. Peter Osgood was a 0.3.
See, this is the deal.
Go on,
This is the deal.
tell me the deal.
Some smart aleck behind the scenes here, and we haven't got many. I'm annoyed now. Somebody's going to away and crunch the numbers and think it's just about numbers.
Okay.
It's not.
But for strikers, is it not about numbers?
Well, not necessarily. And also, if you took Didier Drogba, was a handful. Maybe he doesn't have the record of Erling Haaland, but had so many other facets to his game. And if we're saying, because of the numbers, Erling Haaland's a better player than Thierry Henry, we can have that debate all day, and every night. And also, I'm a great believer in this. The defending in the Premier League now is much poorer, because everybody talks about Van Dijk, this great defender. Is Van Dijk a better defender than the Ferdinands, the Terrys, the list goes on? I'm not sure. I think the standard of defending in the Premier League, and I don't know why I'm waving my glasses around, the standard of defending in the Premier League has diminished. And I believe that. And I'm not saying it's easy, but I think it is
But if
easier.
it's diminished, then why isn't like Sir Harry Kane higher up on the list?
Because he's at Bayern Munich.
Well, if it's diminished, look, I understand what you're saying.
Check about Harry Kane's all-round
Erling
game.
Haaland is such an anomaly compared to the rest. It's very easy to say. Isn't it just very easy?
And here's
to
the
say?
other thing for the number crunchers. Manchester City, for 5 years up until there, have been the dominant team. Tottenham Hotspur have not been the dominant team. If your team is not as dominant as Manchester City have been for the most part against others, it is more difficult for Harry Kane to get to those numbers.
But Stevie mentioned Ian Rush, you go back to his numbers, he's only like 0.6. And he was playing for a Liverpool team that was so dominant.
No, they weren't.
Oh, come on.
No.
When with Stevie, they won 5 league titles.
And it tailed off. It tailed off in the 90s.
Right.
When Ian Rush was still at Liverpool in 94 when I played against them, and it was falling apart then. Graham Souness was the manager. So there are if we're just looking at numbers, the numbers cannot lie, obviously. But there are other factors in this that people who only can crunch and look at numbers, and that seems to be the way these days.
Right.
Particularly with social media. They go on, they see a stat and go, that must be true. There are various arguments into why people are better all-round players.
Listen, so a couple of first thing that kind of struck me is this is Premier League, because we know most people think that football was invented in 1992, so that rules out.
We went back to the first division.
I'm just saying the question reference Premier League.
No, hold on. If I give you,
I'm just saying.
I'm out.
I'm just saying technically.
Peter Osgood's 0.3 when it comes to his ratio.
Okay. I'm just referencing the question. I'm just sticking to what the question said.
Okay.
Now, my thing is, as fantastic a striker as Erling Haaland is, he's only been in the league, 3 years? And I think it's almost an injustice to compare those numbers to the likes of Thierry Henry.
Is it not an injustice as well to laugh off the fact that there were been 20 better strikers?
No, listen.
Hold on. Alan Shearer was Southampton.
Yes.
Blackburn was successful.
Absolutely.
And Newcastle, where they were not.
I would not. I wouldn't say there are 20 better strikers. I wouldn't. I do think that.
You could argue
it also comes down to what you're looking for.
That's a different discussion.
Don't blame me. I never said 20.
You were there. You said Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Just a name I threw out.
I also think there are different types of strikers. You cannot compare Erling Haaland with Thierry Henry. You simply cannot. You can put the numbers up.
Yes.
But in terms of how they played the game, how they affected the opponents, it is totally different.
I think what was struck yesterday was the dismissive nature that Craig and the rest of the boys led.
Well, I
am
not dismissing Erling Haaland's numbers at all.
The hospital are back on the phone.
Don, where do you stand on this?
Take the call.
See, that's why you're the top presenter, Dan, because you picked up. I mean, Peter Osgood, and I say this with all due respect, Peter Osgood, Berbatov and Mark Hughes are better than Erling Haaland, according to the lads.
Nah, we were just chucking
No chance.
We were just...
Of course he's in
the top 10. Well, of course he's in the top 10. Come on, boys. Come on. Be realistic.
I think you've been a bit
nostalgic.
he wasn't in the top 10.
Frank did. He said there were 20 more.
He said he wasn't in the top 20.
Frank should be banned from this show. I mean, seriously.
You chucked in Mark Hughes yesterday.
I'd say easily already, and even though to my earlier point it's only 3 years, I'd say top 5. Erling Haaland top 5.
There you go. A lot of backtracking from you, Bertie.
What's that?
A lot of backtracking.
Go, Frank. Mark Hughes is chucked in.
Take the call. There's a donor. Take the call, will you?
Who's up there with them? Berbatov. Yeah.
No, that was Frank.
Berbatov and Mark Hughes.
Listen, if you said to me you want Erling Haaland, who would you take? Erling Haaland or Thierry Henry, Didier Drogba, even Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp, it's not about the numbers, it's about everything else. I could make an argument about taking those players.
Right.
But again, it comes back to the dominance of Man City in a league where the defending has, in my opinion, got poorer. That factors into it as well. Listen, I can't talk about my colleagues from yesterday. Coming up with this.
He's doing a lot of digging. He's doing some digging.
Listen, you can't tar everybody with the same brush.
Mate, you chucked in yesterday.
Shut up, Don.
Craig, you chucked in Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes, you chucked in.
Well, he's a mate of mine.
This is brilliant. Just keep saying names to him.
My favourite part, the Bulgarian guy who's showing him.
He's showing him. That was Bulgarian.
I wasn't listening.
Stevie, Dennis Law.
He was back in the 50s, Stevie.
Peter Osgood. Peter Osgood.
There we go.
Jimmy Greaves.
Okay, so that.
How many goals did Jimmy Greaves get?
Emlyn Hughes.
He was a defender.
Welcome in then to the latest edition of Extra Time. Thank you very much for all of your messages. Craig is here, so is Shaka, so is Don. We continue the conversation you may have seen on Extra Time yesterday. Erling Haaland, not even a top 20 striker, of course, according to Frank Leboeuf. That was pretty much put to bed during this discussion. But have you ever seen Craig backtrack so much in his life, Don? It was fantastic to see.
Oh, Dan, top presenting. You've had him absolutely backtracking for fun. Look at him. See what he said as well. I was just chucking some names out there. It's still your fault for chucking them in.
Berbatov.
I didn't say, but why are you kissing his backside? He doesn't give out contracts at this company. He's merely an employee.
Listen, you don't shift the blame.
Yeah.
Don't
and
shift
I think
the blame.
I was not backtracking. I was making a cohesive argument.
Right.
As to why.
Why are you looking at me? I'm straight up to this now.
What would you say? I said Mark Hughes because he was my mate.
I was bored. I was bored at that point. I've been on here for like an hour and a half. Oh my God, I was so discombobulated with the Liverpool discussion.
Berbatov.
Dan, did you see that tweet I got? Dan, did you see the tweet I got the other day? I got a tweet the other day. It mentions you, Craig.
There you are.
It mentions you.
What does it
Listen
say?
in. So I got a tweet saying, I really don't like Kay Murray. I really don't like Dan.
Oh.
They're really unfair to you, Don. They bully you. In fact, Craig's the worst. He made you cry on the show once. And I said, rubbish. I was like, rubbish, it's all good-natured.
Who did I make cry?
Don.
Made Don cry?
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Me, apparently. I mean, I can't remember it.
I believe that. I believe you did.
I remember when you came on you came on the show and you were really ill, Don, and halfway through you went, I'm sorry, I just can't carry on.
Yeah, it's probably that one. I couldn't speak.
Having a breakdown.
Right, both Slot and Flick, Don, overachieved last year. Both of their teams didn't play in the Club World Cup this summer. Is this regression to the mean or something more?
No, I mean, listen, Hansi Flick bingo, but that high line is just ridiculous when you watch them. It's cost them against PSG, cost them the other day. It's something they're going to have to address. I think the Slot one's just because of, listen, how long we got on Liverpool.
Yeah, they did it yesterday, don't worry.
There's been so many players that have been brought in. Yeah, they're missing Luis Diaz, they're missing Trent. I genuinely think they're halfway through a rebuild and they still need 3 or 4.
Pundits for the NBA and NFL, Don, talk about players maxing out in a contract year and then coasting once they have their new deal. Is Salah guilty of this?
No, I think Salah's unlucky that now he's lost Trent, who he had for like 6 or 7 years behind him or whatever it was, who's raking 50-yard passes, would take Liverpool up the pitch. Someone again posted something on X the other day. I can't remember the game. I want to say it was against West Ham, where he was at full-back and he drilled a ball along the floor, like literally, an inch off the floor, and he drilled it in behind loads of cut spin and like backspin right into the path of Salah. He ran on and scored. So no, listen, you can't write him off, Dan. We'll be sat here in a week's time. He'll score 2 against Man United. Liverpool win 5, and they'll be back again.
Don, your internet's a bit dodgy today.
Yeah.
Contract year, did you try harder?
No.
No, you always gave 100%. It's just the
110. I would give 110%.
I didn't get. You can factually never give 110.
No, exactly. That's what's so annoying when people say that.
110 in my contract year.
I'm going to go
100 every other year.
Yes, exactly.
That year I gave it 150. I only ever went into my last. I did it Derby actually. At Chelsea, I was going into my last year.
Right.
Literally, when they sold me to Celtic. At Celtic, I didn't. Derby was a different scenario. But no.
What about you, Shaq?
I don't think so.
People kept letting me go for free.
No, you don't. You were the record for a goalkeeper, weren't you, when you moved?
Reading, Reddington. Yeah. That was a long old time ago.
Broken records. Hearing about it for 10 years.
It's like giving Scottish Player of the Year.
Get it right.
Scottish Writers Player.
Football Writers Player.
Yeah, sorry.
No, try your best all the time.
All right, Don.
No, you try your best. No, you try your best all the time.
Oh, yeah. Nice lesson.
Trying to get a new contract now, Don.
What one is it? When you make as many moves as Don,
Right.
Is it because...
Wow.
Is it because other clubs want you or the clubs you're at want rid of you?
Don, would you like to address that question?
Which one is it, Don?
Do you know what? I didn't realise until about 10 years ago, Dan, to answer Craig's question there. I've never played 100 games for anyone.
Wow.
So there might be something in the latter in what Craig said there.
Troublemaker. That's what we're hearing, Don. That's what it looks like.
If you've got a
Bad
problem,
apple.
If you've got a problem at a club, give it to somebody else.
Ah, I see. Pass the buck. Oh, I can never get this guy's name right. Don, what...
Frank.
What percentage chance do you give Waltemada to score
Waltemada.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
You said Walter.
I don't think I did. I think I gave it a Waltemada.
On tape.
Go again.
No, I just did it. Waltemada.
Right,
There you go. To score over 15 goals in all competitions this season. Oh, it's easy.
Oh, quite high.
Yeah.
70.
70%?
He's already got, like, what's he got? 3?
3.
Yeah.
Has he got 3?
3.
You're on the ball. On that computer again.
3. Just go with it.
I could just guess.
It's looked all right, hasn't he? Karl-Heinz Rummenigge doesn't think so.
Oh, no?
You not see what he said?
No, I didn't. What did he
See what
say?
he said, Don, about Waltemada?
What?
He called Newcastle idiots.
Terrible.
What, for buying him?
They've got a bad habit in Germany, particularly Bayern, of coming out and talking about other players.
Yeah.
Whether it's because they wanted him as a squad player, ended up with Nico Jackson.
So why Newcastle idiots?
For spending obscene amounts of money on a player who's not good enough.
Oh, well, he's doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah. But I'm just saying they have a propensity...
Who they tried to buy twice.
...to come out and talk about other players. Ole Hoeneß, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge. It's not even their player.
I'm being told 4 goals.
Oh, he's better than Erling Haaland.
Craig, do you still rank...
Whoever made that graphic, I'm going to punch them. Oh, sorry, did HR do that? Who is it?
Craig,
It's the same boys I was praising yesterday. I'm going to come up down at that gallery and dish out a good whatever. And as for you...
Burnley, get on with it.
As for you...
God, do you still rank Pedri and De Jong as the best midfield duo currently in the game?
Did I say that?
Yes.
I said they're one of the best.
Well, are they still one of the best in the game?
Yes. Yeah, they didn't... you wouldn't have seen the Sevilla game.
Sevilla-Barcelona, Sevilla first half, they were brilliant. Barcelona were terrible.
Barcelona were terrible, full stop. But those two hardly got a kick, and that's very, very unusual. But yeah, I mean, what are we, recency bias here? I mean, just what? Yeah,
no, we're the opposite of recency bias with Peter Osgood.
No, but I'm talking about one really bad game at the weekend, and Pedri and De Jong are not two of the best midfielders. Spare me.
You talk about stubborn head coaches who don't change their tactics when things are going wrong. Did you ever play under one?
I don't think so.
What was Harry like in that scenario?
Harry would
just change it.
Harry
Harry would make it up as he goes along. Oh,
Jim Smith. That has to be the best management duo.
Oh,
not for football. Although Harry Redknapp was a great manager, and so was Jim. But those two together.
Probably the only one that maybe falls into that category is Kevin Keegan.
Right.
In that he wanted to attack. I mean, he said that to me when I joined. He's like, listen, we're not going to keep many clean sheets here.
Oh, okay. Well, we just signed you. What do you expect?
Yeah, so that's why we signed you. But he just wanted to play on the front foot and bought defenders who could attack. Philippe Albert was very good on the ball. Steve Howe. Probably the only out-and-out defender we had was Darren Peacock. That's how he played and didn't change regardless.
Don, you played under many managers.
No,
not for very long, though.
I think managers had their sort of philosophy, but they were versatile. Yeah, not for very long. They were versatile. I think back in our day, I think they put it on the players a lot more, and we liked it. You know, managers could only do so much back in our day because they had to do everything. They had to do, you know, leading the team. They had to do set plays. They had to take care of goalkeepers, take care of the press, take care of everything going on. They never had enough time to try and do everything themselves. So I think they put a lot more onto the players. And I think a lot more games in our day, I don't know if the boys agree, turned into 50-50 games. It wasn't really in the early 90s about tactics. More or less every single team played the same system. So it was right, man on man, who can get the best of their opponents, who's the best team on the day.
I mean, I think it'd be real fun coming into training now and working with a throw-in coach.
Yeah, I think you'd...
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
with a drive you pot. I'm not saying there's nothing in it. Of course, all these teams have various coaches, as Don mentioned. But, you know, as players, you want to come in and have a good, sharp training session. And that's what generally we did back in the day. There wasn't as much of this sort of tactical stuff. The game has just changed in that sense. But Craig Brown was one. He's got the old Scotland manager. He only once in my 10 years there changed the system that we played, only once. And that was the game at Wembley, because we were 2-0 down against England from the first leg. We changed to a 3-4-3. It wasn't drastic, still 3 at the back. But we had 3 up front, 2 wide players and Don. But he was 3-5-2 regardless of scoreline.
What was the score in that game?
The one at Wembley. 1-0.
And who scored?
Well, he wasn't on comms that night.
Are you sure? You sure?
By the way, did we play 3 at the back at Wembley? Because I can't remember that. Are you sure?
Yeah, we played 3-4-3 that day, Don, instead of 3-5-2.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, we didn't. We played 4 at the back, and I played up front with Dodsey.
No.
We never played 3 at the back.
We did, yeah.
All right,
You've made that up.
All right, nobody cares.
Made that up.
Nobody.
That's right. Birdie's having a shocker. Another thing he's got wrong today.
Well, all you need to know is, and by the way, and Don will attest to this, we absolutely battered England that night.
And then did you go through?
Pumped them.
Oh no, because it was 2-0, wasn't it?
Pierluigi Collina was refereeing, and he conspired against us that night.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit of English bias.
Right.
David Seaman made an unbelievable save right at the end.
Oh dear.
And how did England get on at the Euros when they got there? They disgraced the country.
Disgraced.
Kevin Keegan got the sack.
For all, as an ex-pro, you've spent countless hours travelling. What's the biggest, most absurd diva demand?
I'm going to look up that team from Wembley. Right. Carry on.
Right. What's the biggest diva demand?
I'm telling you now, we didn't play 3 at the back.
Yes, we did.
Oh, no, Don's got his glasses on.
What are you doing, Don?
I have no idea.
Are you looking up something as well? Oh, are you reading the question?
I'm just reading it. I'm reading it.
Okay.
I'm reading it.
Diva teammate on a trip. Did you have any?
Divas?
Yes.
Oh, million. Paolo?
What did he do? What was his demand?
It wasn't so much he just demanded everything, Dan. It was like all about himself. I mean, he hated flying. So I can remember we were at Stansted and he was like petrified of flying, so he used to get a car everywhere to the northwest. And Glenn Roeder somehow persuaded him, I think we were playing Newcastle, I can't remember, I think it was Newcastle. And somehow Glenn and Paul Goddard persuaded him to get on the plane at Stansted. And as he got on the plane, like he's a bit petrified, like a nervous wreck. And he sat in his seat, but John Moncur was sat next to him, and John Moncur went, Paolo. He went, is that rivet not meant to be a little bit tighter in that window?
Very good.
Sprinted off, and they had to put a taxi. They had to put a taxi from London up to Newcastle for him.
Right, here's how you're wrong, Don, right? I'm going to tell you now. David Weir played, Christian Daly played, and Colin Hendry played.
Yep.
And Callum Davison played.
Yep.
Yeah. Callum Davison played left wing. Shut up.
Back, yeah.
Callum Davison played left wing back.
And I played. Say, let's get this show out and done with.
And I played right wing back. Yes, I played right wing back, Don, that night.
You didn't. You played right wing. And it was Barry Ferguson and John Collins in the middle of the park. Neil McCann on the left, and me and Billy Dodds up front.
You're trying to tell me I played right wing.
Don't look at me. I'm out of this.
Yes.
The glasses are on. Very attractive glasses.
Never played right wing in my
life. Me and Doddsy up front. Doddsy trying to nick the goal off me.
Doddsy played off the right. That's why you're not a manager.
Right.
He didn't.
Right. Moving on from this fascinating discussion.
He did.
As an ex-pro, oh no, is that the last question?
The last one?
Ah, that's it. Good, we're done.
Oh, thank God, this show's been exhausting today.
It's because you've been so wrong all the time.
Craig's had a shocker.
He's had a stinker.
Craig's worst show ever. That's his worst show ever.
Worst show ever. Oh wow, I mean.
That is it. That brings us to the end of today. Are you on tomorrow as well?
I am on tomorrow. I feel like, Jesus, give me a day off, will you? I'm not watching that international guff.
Oh, what's happening? Is there international games?
Yes.
Oh, who's playing? Who's playing?
Nobody cares.
Oh, Scotland are playing.
Exactly.
Will it be a 3-4-3?
Oh, boy.